right, so Manchester United were in action in the Premier League over the weekend. So it was a trip to the St. James's Park to take on Newcastle United. And, with his job on the line, not really his job on the line though, but United are hoping that at least, they found themselves at the 13th position in the Premier League for quite a while now. So they'll be hoping, or they were even hoping to at least, improve their performance and then also elevate as far as their positioning on the league log is concerned. Now, we'll be talking about the major talking point from that particular game. There's quite a lot that actually happened, from Manchester United's standpoint and then also from Newcastle, because Onana wasn't part of the traveling squad that went to Tyneside to take on Newcastle United. And then also for Newcastle, their head coach, Eddie Howe, was also not in the dugout for the team because he was facing some health issues. And over the weekend, even when the game took place, he was in the hospital. So there's quite a lot to talk about. But first, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and then also you can follow us across all social media platforms. It's Al Media Hub across the various social media platforms. So now back to that United Newcastle game, or the Newcastle United game, where Newcastle battered and walloped United by 4 goals to pop. They in fact beat them to pop by 4 goals to 1. So Harvey Barnes was on a double. There was a goal from Sandro Tonali and then also Bruno Guimaraes, which means that Manchester United fell again. Now, United fans are raving. They are actually not really happy about the performances. And some are already questioning, the ingenuity and then also the tactical acumen of their head coach, Ruben Amorim. Some are saying he's not even good enough because, about 6 months into his contract at Old Trafford, they still can't identify a clear style of play for Manchester United. Others are saying he needs at least one preseason with this team. But regardless, so United at some point in the game had to draw level through Garnacho after Sandro Tonali had given Newcastle the lead. So you were thinking that at least it was supposed to be a close game, a close call. Because for Newcastle United, their manager, Eddie Howe, was not in the dugout for them. So they had to fall on the assistant coach, Jason, to just spear this team to victory. So Eddie Howe had some health issues, and due to that, he was hospitalized throughout the weekend. So in fact, Newcastle beat Manchester United even without their head coach in the dugout. And it's just, shocking and surprising that United couldn't even beat Newcastle United, a team that didn't even have, their head coach in the dugout. So it was the assistant coach that led the team during that game against Manchester United. But after the 4-1 victory, the assistant coach himself said that Eddie Howe has congratulated him. So that was Jason Tyndall. He was the assistant coach that led Newcastle United to that victorious win over Manchester United. And it was also the first time in over 90 years since Newcastle United did the double over Manchester United. The first time in over 90 years that they did it. So they just didn't do it in some style or in grand fashion, but then they did it, breaking a jinx. A 90-year-old jinx that has been hunting them for quite some time now. So Jason Tyndall also confirmed that their head coach or his manager, his boss, that's Eddie Howe, congratulated the whole team, the entire team from the hospital. So he could be there for the meantime, but then Newcastle United are still in a hunt, to qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season, something they did about 3 seasons ago where, they were quite a force to reckon with. Now, for Manchester United, many people were quite, shocked by the decision of the manager to omit Onana's name from the matchday squad. So Onana wasn't part of the squad that traveled to the Tyneside in that game between Newcastle United and then also Manchester United. So people asked questions, but Amorim himself came out to say that he had wanted Onana to be off the camera. So he didn't want Onana to even be on the bench for the cameras to be on him and people talking about him and all that. So it was even prudent for him to omit his name heading into that Thursday crunch fixture against Olympique Lyon at the Old Trafford. So he felt it was necessary that, Onana just sat out to refresh himself both physically and then also psychologically. Yeah, it makes sense for Onana to, at least get a break from football and everything, the hula baloo, the chaos and everything that is happening. But interestingly, it was their second choice goalkeeper. So Alta Bayende, who replaced Onana in post. So he considered some funny goals here on the day, you could say that United were shambolic. The whole team didn't step up and everyone, the defense was all over the place. But then, to think of the fact that Onana was being crucified for being error-prone, giving, balls out to opponents, being able to grab balls and all that. Then Bayende, whom everyone thought was supposed to prove himself, at least heading into the rest of the season, so that he can stake a claim to replace Onana in post, also ironically gifted a goal for Newcastle to score their 4th goal. So now it looks like it's garbage in, garbage out for Manchester United. No real remedy for them as they keep on struggling. So it's not just the team struggling, but then even in one of the most important or key areas of the team, that's the goalkeeping position, hasn't seen any real improvement since Amorim took over. So Onana is bad, but then you would also say the second choice goalkeeper is even worse than Onana after he made that mistake. And you could see the face on the look on his face after he gave away that ball for Newcastle to also equalize. So United losing to Newcastle by 4-1, that's not really the talking point. The talking point keeps on being Andre Onana and then also the second choice goalkeeper for Manchester United in Aita Bayende. Now to Spain, something quite, cynical happened when Real Madrid traveled to Alaves to take on Alaves over the weekend in the Spanish La Liga. So Kylian Mbappé got himself sent off for the first time in his Real Madrid career. He got a straight red card for a nasty, cynical challenge on an Alaves player. And everyone kept on asking, what is wrong with this guy? Because you should have just seen the tackle. And that's the tackle. That's how horrific the tackle was. And at that point, you could see that Kylian Mbappé had lost everything. He went haywire, within a split second, launching a very, very, career-threatening, ending-threatening tackle on the player, and which saw Kylian Mbappé, being given the matching orders. At that point, like I said, no one actually understood what was wrong with Kylian Mbappé and why he would even, launch into such a tackle. It had malice, it had everything. See, it was a worst tackle from Kylian Mbappé, just going in hard on the player. But unfortunately, the player received treatment and was okay. But it was the first time in close to 6 years Kylian Mbappé has been sent off in a match. So the last time he got sent off was, in a Ligue 1 game in the 2018-19 season for Paris Saint-Germain. But for Real Madrid, it's shocking. He's barely played one full season for the Los Blancos. And already Kylian Mbappé is making the headlines. But then after the game, Kylian Mbappé came out to say, yeah, he was sorry. He didn't know what got over him. I don't know if it was spiritual, but whatever you think it is, for that moment, I think the guy lost his head. He lost his mind, he lost everything, and then just went in hard. But then the good thing is that he feels he's sorry for what he did and he shouldn't have done it. That nearly cost Real Madrid. But then after 90 minutes, they still prevailed. They won by a lone goal, which sees them, just closing on Barcelona again. So it's back to 4 points. They could have nearly dropped points again. So the La Liga race is on. It's still Real Madrid breathing down heavily on the necks of Barcelona for the title.